to bring in as many people as possible so that we can carry forward this aim. The harbour phase will include events such as a maritime seminar. There's also a maritime technical exposition which is happening. There will be junior officers interaction taking place, and there will also be a city parade with the visiting ships participating with their contingents, marching contingents, and this will be a big event for the city of Visakhapatnam, which is where we are hosting the Milan. During the sea phase, all the participating navies will be engaged in a large gamut of operational exercises and drills, and we'll do it in multiple groups since there are a large number of ships involved. So what we will do is to give you a little more detailed insight in what is happening in Milan 2024. We have a presentation by the Chief Staff Officer Operations, Eastern Naval Command, who's come down from Visakhapatnam. That's Rear Admiral Shantanu Jha, and I'll request him to present the salients of the Milan 2024.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. As the Deputy Chief has just alluded, I will build upon the story that we have started. Milan 24, the 12th edition of which is being conducted from the 19th to the 27th of February, has two phases: the harbour phase from the 19th to 23rd, and the sea phase, the action end of the exercise, from 24th to 27th of February 24. The participation in this year's edition sees 51 nations, 35 warships and submarines, and 50 aircraft, which will all be a part of this exercise. It fills our heart with pride to bring to you that we have 51 partner navies from around the world that are participating in Milan 24, making it actually one of the largest maritime naval exercises in the world. The names of the countries are arranged alphabetically, as you can see, and the ones in blue are the additions in this year's exercise. While the navies may be of different sizes and shapes, everyone has an equal seat on our table. And while the colors of our skin may be different, the one common color that binds us all is the color of our uniform, which is white, and which teaches us how to speak that one common language, that oceans unite. The regional representation of Milan 24 is as again shown on the screen. And as you can see, we have 4 countries from the Americas, 5 from Europe, 16 from Africa, 22 from Asia, and 4 from the Australian and the Oceanic region. This actually encompasses the entire world, and it fills our heart with pride that our friends and partners have bestowed upon us that badge of honor that we in the Indian Navy wear very proudly, and that of being the first responder and the preferred security partner in the region. Milan 24, the highlights of the harbour phase, like the Deputy Chief just mentioned, will have
allows middle-level officers to be able to talk to one another about the good practices that each one of us incorporate. We have a dedicated tabletop exercise, a first in this year's edition, which is on a hypothetical situation where we have humanitarian assistance, non-combat evacuation, and asymmetric warfare threats, something that we are actually involved in our day-to-day living. We have a dedicated deep submergence rescue vehicle demonstration for all the submarine operating navies, which has been a huge hit in the past editions too. We of course use this opportunity to have bilateral dialogues with all the heads of navies and heads of delegations who will be coming down to the city of Destiny, Vizag, and we will be able to join us in this conversation. The young officers will get a unique opportunity to sail on board the Iron Sail training ship, which again is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for many of them. The formal opening ceremony of Milan 24 will be on the 21st of February, and the chief guest for this event will be the Honorable Raksha Mantri. We will have over 500 participating navies and delegates from around the world, in addition to senior officials from the government and the state machineries, members of the academia, and of course our prized friends from the media who will be able to cover this. This event will also be live streamed on the social media channels of the Indian Navy. On the 21st, the Raksha Mantri will also inaugurate the Milan Village, which will be an event which will be running for 3 days from the 21st to the 23rd of February. This is a small endeavor from our side to showcase Indian handicrafts, our culture, and of course, cuisines. There is a saying that an army marches on its stomach. We firmly believe that the navies sail on their stomachs. And if we go by the past experience, this has been one event that has been appreciated by our friends from all around the world. We have cultural performances by the bands of participating navies and troops, which again is a huge show catcher. On the 21st, the Honorable Raksha Mantri will finally inaugurate the Maritime Tech Exhibition, which is again an event that is running from the 21st to the 23rd of February, which is an endeavor to showcase the Indian maritime technology and capability to our friends and partners. This event has the FICCI as the exhibition partner, and we are hoping to have stalls by the DPSUs, PSUs, shipyards, industries, and the Indian Navy, which will be able to offer something of great value to all the participants. The prime event of Milan 24 is going to be the International Maritime Seminar, which is on 2 days from the 22nd to 23rd February. The chief guest for this event will be the Honorable Vice President of India, who will also deliver the keynote address. The theme for this seminar is Partners Across Oceans, Collaboration, Synergy, and Growth. This seminar will provide an ideal platform to exchange ideas on common maritime priorities as leaders from all the major navies which are participating in this exercise will be able to exchange their views and also discuss on ways to be able to mitigate the challenges that confront all of us today. The showstopper event for the Milan would of course be the International City Parade, which will be organized on the 22nd of February. The chief guest for this event is the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and this event will see marching contingents from the participating navies, cultural performances by dance troops, tableau. It will be preceded by a very impressive air power and a Marine Commandos demonstration, which has always been the highlight of this event. The ships which are anchored in the beautiful bay of Visakhapatnam will illuminate at the end of it, marking the end of the harbour phase of Milan 24. Thereafter, the ships and aircraft that are participating in the exercise will move to the business end, which is the sea phase. As the Deputy Chief alluded, this event will be conducted off Visakhapatnam in the Bay of Bengal and will comprise advanced air defense, anti-submarine warfare, and tactical exercises by all the participating navies, which would be organized in 3 different groups. These joint exercises is a small endeavor from our side to be able to enhance our interoperability, because one thing is very clear, that given the complexity of maritime challenges that we all face today, no one navy in the world can solve all the problems, but together, so much more can be done. The closing ceremony of Milan 24 will be held on the 27th of February 24 at Anchorage on board one of our aircraft carriers, where we will get a chance to be able to conduct a hot wash-up, a debrief, and thereafter, all the participating ships and aircraft will proceed back on their national taskings. We are already live on the Milan website, as shown on the screen. The email ID that you can reach out to our team is as indicated. The point of contact for Milan 24 will be Commodore Shiraz Azad, who is present with us here today, and you can always have a word with him after this press conference, whose number is also available for any query that you would have regarding the coverage and the other modalities that are required to be able to help us make Milan 24 an absolutely wonderful spectacle. With that, I will hand over back to you, sir.
So thank you, Admiral Jha. Some of you may be aware that the Milan series of exercises started in 1995 with a very small group of nations, just about 4 nations. In fact, I was lucky to have been participating as a then navigating officer on one of the ships, which was the flagship of the Eastern Fleet at that point in time, but this was done in Port Blair. As the Indian Navy transformed from a look east to an act east policy, what has happened in the subsequent editions of Milan, there's been a gradual increase in the participation, and as we have connected over the years with more and more countries, they have been more and more willing to participate and add to the numbers of Milan. You very well know the national aim of security and growth for all in the region, which is also used, it's called Sagar. And this initiative by the government has led to further increase in the engagement. And with the increasing number of participants and the growing complexity of the exercises also, we decided that, or we saw that Andaman and Nicobar couldn't probably support this kind of endeavor, and we decided to shift it to the mainland. And we first decided to do this on the mainland in 2020, but you would recollect that COVID had stuck at that point in time, so we had to cancel that exercise. In 2022, we did the Milan series of exercise in Visakhapatnam for the first time. And what has happened is that, the Visakhapatnam, why Visakhapatnam? We have a very close relationship actually with Visakhapatnam. The Indian Navy got established there sometime in the 70s when the naval dockyard and the naval base was created. And as the Indian Navy has grown in size and in capability, the city of Visakhapatnam has grown along with us. And it's been a very symbiotic relationship between the two cities, between the city and the Navy. In 2016, we had planned the International Fleet Review, and just a couple of months before that, the Hudud cyclone struck. And the city showed phenomenal resilience and recovered very quickly. And actually, the city was prepared for receiving a large number of international visitors as part of the IFR 2016. So therefore, it was natural that we chose Visakhapatnam as the venue for the Milan series of exercises, which is now in fact grown to such a size that, for example, from 2022, when 39 countries participated, this year we have 51 countries participating. So that's a considerable increase in the number. Milan 2024, as you've seen in the presentation, is a much more inclusive event. It's extended, we started with, the Southeast Asian neighbors, but it's extended to the littoral, and now we've gone on beyond that. And as you saw, we had countries participating from the Pacific Islands, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, we have Fiji on the west coast of Africa, we have Gabon, Tonga, we even have the Canadians coming in this time, so much larger participation. And I would like to bring out that the Milan has transitioned leaps and bounds not only in terms of numbers but also in the complexity of the exercises. So you've already been informed that the Raksha Mantri will be there to inaugurate it on 21st, and then of course the Honorable Vice President will be there to join us for the International Maritime Seminar. Also the technical exhibition, Maritime Tech exhibition. So my only request would be that you bring to your audiences what is happening, and I will now probably open the floor for question and answers. We can take on some question and answers.
Snehesh.
Hi sir, Snehisha from the print. Wanted to know, sir, among the 35 warships that are participating, how many foreign nations are sending in the warships? And also, was Israel part of the Milan the last time? Because Israel is invited but is not in the confirmed list.
That's right. So this time we have 15 ships participating, foreign ships participating, and in fact one aircraft also. The French are sending in, have sent in already an Atlantic aircraft. So 15 countries have sent assets this time. The Israel, as I can understand, is last time I think they participated with a delegation, but not a ship. And this time, of course, you would understand that they're quite engaged. So this time they have not been able to make it. They've conveyed their regrets.
How many levels you come? I'll request you to wait for raise your hand and we'll pass on the mic. Manu Pabi.
Hi, sir. Manu Pabi here from Economic Times. So, can you give us an idea of the scenarios being, discussed or which will be played out in the harbour phase as well as the planning phase in terms of new threats of unmanned systems, unmanned boats, and UAVs, which we've seen recently. Will this be under discussion? Will it be part of the exercise as well in the sea phase, sir?
So what we decided to do is to do this as a tabletop exercise, a tabletop discussion, the asymmetric threats, and certainly autonomous platforms, aerial as well as surface, is a major component of this kind of asymmetric threats. We will be doing that, but we do not have a plan to exercise it at sea, at least not for this Milan.
Sir, could you tell us a little bit about the kind of participation that is coming from Canada?
Canada, we have a delegation, am I correct? This time we have a delegation. So some of the countries are participating with assets and they are part of the exercise in terms of the harbor face exercises as well as the sea exercises. And as I mentioned, that was 15 countries. And the balance 36 countries that are there are sending representatives in terms of a delegation. And in the case of Canada, it is headed by one of their commander rank officers.
Sahil.
Good afternoon, I'm Sahil from ANI. Sir, could you also elaborate on the carrier participation? And my second question is related to in Indian Navy action is taking place, action on piracy recently, especially against Houthi rebels. And what is the present situation in the region, sir?
So, with regard to the Milan, so we intend to have both our aircraft carriers participating. In fact, large number of assets of the Indian Navy naturally bound to be there. So we've decided that it's time that both the carriers have a visit to the eastern coast, which has not happened for some time. But I'd also like to mention that, you know, they are not a very prominent part of the sea exercise. They will be certainly participating. But what we've tried to do is that since the visiting navies which are sending ships have vessels of different sizes coming, so we've tried to kind of make the groupings to match up with the equivalent Indian assets, so that, you know, you don't have very small ships with oversized ships. So that's how we've done the groupings as far as the sea exercise is concerned. And therefore the idea was actually to make everybody feel equal and give an equal seat on the table. And therefore the Indian assets that are going to be part of the sea phase are going to be matching up with what the participating navies are sending as contributions. The second question was related to the attacks by the Houthis. It has been, as you're quite aware, a matter of great concern globally now, because the impact is not just on the shipping of one country or two countries, because what really happens is that it's not just our goods being carried by Indian flag vessels, it is also to do with goods being carried in foreign flag vessels. We might have vessels which are associated with particular countries but carrying cargo for Indian shores. We also have the kind of effect that is there on the insurance and on the rerouting of ships, which has its economic impact. So yes, this is a big concern for us, and therefore we are deploying to contribute towards maintaining maritime security in the region, certainly. Did you also mention something about piracy? So what exactly, could you just repeat the question?
On the anti-piracy drive by
So piracy, our assessment is that now that the international navies which used to deploy for anti-piracy have their attention taken up by some of the activities, the attacks that is happening on merchant ships in the Red Sea and even in the Gulf of Aden. Our assessment is that the piracy which had become dormant to quite an extent in east of the coast of Somalia has reared up again, and possibly the pirates or the people who engage in this kind of activity thought that there would be nobody watching and they can take advantage of the situation. But piracy in the Arabian Sea is a very, very big concern for the Indian Navy, because you might recollect it took a phenomenal amount of effort by the Indian Navy to push the piracy back to the coast very close to Somalia, because if piracy extends towards the Indian coast, then what happens is naturally the insurance rates of the freight that is moving by sea will also increase in an anti-piracy region, and therefore it is our job to maintain maritime security in the waters around us and what is affected by us. So it took us very considered and very considerable effort to push the piracy back. And therefore, the minute we've seen signs of piracy coming up, we have been very proactive in deploying to contain this kind of a situation. And we have assets, both surface and air assets, deployed very actively to contain piracy. Concluding remarks. I think there was a question on how many chiefs are visiting. Yeah. Do we? 11 heads of navies are visiting. Yes, actually the accurate term is maritime agencies, because some of our smaller countries don't term their maritime agency as a navy as such. They do follow different nomenclatures. So if there's no further questions, the only thing I would like to say towards the end is that challenging times, there are local conflicts which threaten to actually impede global security, as I was just mentioning in my answer to one of the questions. And not just security, but economic growth also. And therefore, we are wanting to use Milan as a platform for the navies across the globe to come together and work towards these common maritime goals of ensuring maritime security, promote collaboration and promote synergy amongst the operating navies. As it had been mentioned by Admiral Jha, it's not possible for any navy to do this alone, on their own. It has to be a collaborative effort, which is what we're doing. And platforms such as these only tend to enhance the collaboration. We'll not just be getting, participation by the senior representatives from these navies as heads of delegations, but we are also getting a large number of actual practitioners who are operating their ships at sea. They are the ones who face the daily challenges at sea. And we will sit together with all of them, bring them on a common platform, discuss the difficulties, the possibilities, how to take things forward, exchange ideas, exchange experiences which would benefit us, benefit them. And by forging deeper partnerships, we hope that we can contain some of the threats to the maritime interests and to meet some of the challenges that we all face together. It is also an endeavor through this event to raise the maritime consciousness of Indian citizens within our country. We are a navy for the service of the country, and it has always been our desire that our countrymen should know what they have. It is their navy, and they should know more about what they have in their navy, what their navy does for the country, and to increase maritime consciousness. And we would like, we'd be very happy if you can reach out to your audiences and help us contribute in this endeavor, which we believe is part of a nation-building exercise to increase the maritime consciousness, and of course, bring the events to your audiences. through print, through TV, whichever medium that you may use. So thank you, and
Thank you, sir.
what's more in store is that we are, of course, looking forward to having you in Visakhapatnam next week, and Eastern Naval Command has done the preparation as far as administrative arrangements are concerned, and we will be ready to receive as many of you who can make it to Visakhapatnam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I'll request you all now to join us for lunch right behind. Thank you.